welcome to the Team Ottawa podcast with Mayor Mark Sutcliffe. Mayor, we're still thinking about Canada Day, the incredible storm that came through, devastating so many families. But you've had an interesting conversation with the Canadian Red Cross.
Yeah, we've struck a partnership with the Canadian Red Cross, and it was approved by City Council on Wednesday. And look, let's take a step back and talk about the fact that there are 6,000 families in our community whose basements have been flooded, whose lives have been turned upside down by the events of July the 1st, the biggest one-day rainfall in our city's history, and it all fell within 4 hours. It was a devastating event for so many families, and I've been talking to and meeting with many different families. I've been visiting families who were affected. I've been in their basements. I've seen the damage. I've seen a lot of resilience. I've seen, heard stories of heroism, neighbors supporting neighbors. The local hockey team coming over and helping some seniors get all the stuff out of their basement, rip up the carpet, all of those kinds of things. So really incredible response from the community and from our emergency teams. But we needed to make sure that these residents, this is going to be a long road to recovery, and we need to make sure these residents have the resources they need over the many months ahead. So we have struck a partnership with the Canadian Red Cross. They do this in some circumstances. It's not automatic that they do it every time there's a crisis, but we engage them and we are entering into a relationship with them. They are already starting the work. They are going to provide personalized case management and support to every single family affected by the floods. They're going to contact every single family, determine what their needs are, and they're going to provide customized support to each family in areas like helping them with their insurance claims, helping them connect with engineers and renovation specialists as they repair and restore their basements, and providing other social and human supports as needed for people who are coping with the trauma from this event. So this is a very significant package of services that we have contracted the Red Cross to provide, and they have already started the work. So it's happening urgently and immediately, and it will continue for at least 6 months. So that's some comfort and some peace of mind for the residents and some real meaningful support for them in the months ahead. The other thing I want to mention about the Canadian Red Cross, we spoke to them about doing a fundraising campaign to support the most vulnerable residents affected by this event. And they've agreed to do that. So as you know, when there are major weather events, when there are fires, when there's a tornado, often the Red Cross has a fundraising campaign. So they have launched a flood relief campaign for Ottawa on their website. People can donate there. People can find out more information there. And we're hoping to have some announcements in the days ahead about how some of those funds will be matched and supplemented as well. But the Canadian Red Cross has started a fundraising campaign. So we're very, very grateful to the Canadian Red Cross. I met with their CEO a few days ago and had this conversation and finalized the arrangement to have them first provide that support to our residents and secondly launch the fundraising campaign. And they're great people.
What an excellent collaboration. That's very, very good news. And listen, it doesn't stop there. Mayor, you've really been very open about the fact you're going to be there for residents until the end, until this is completely recovered. There's a lot of steps to that. Walk me through a number of the initiatives that happened, particularly this week at Council.
Yeah, we are going to be there to support our residents for as long as recovery takes, whatever it takes. So whatever it takes, as long as it takes, we will be there for them. And a few measures were introduced, several measures were introduced at Council this week. There are more to come, but just to be clear on what was approved at Council this week, we are engaging with local lawyers to provide legal assistance to residents who are navigating their complex insurance claims. So nobody should have to go through that alone. We're going to provide some resources for that. We are reducing the financial burden on residents by waiving fees for dumpster encroachment, for building permits as they renovate and restore their basements. So we're reducing that financial burden. We have a compassionate grant program for people who are victims of flooding at the City of Ottawa. It's $1,000 per family to help with incidental expenses. That program's been in place for 16 years, and so far, 55 people in 16 years have applied for and received that benefit. We expect hundreds, if not thousands, of people will be applying for it in the next few months alone. We've expanded the criteria to be even more inclusive, so more people can apply for it, and we have added funds to it so that we can help everybody who is eligible. So it will not be limited by any budget, anything like that. It's not first come, first serve or anything like that. Everybody who qualifies will receive a grant of $1,000. We have also, we have a program. Not everybody knows about this program, but we have a program at the City of Ottawa to provide incentives for people to install backflow valves and sump pumps in their basements to make their homes more resilient against flooding in the future. We're going to expand the funding that's available in that so more people can apply for and receive the incentive to put those things in place in their homes and make their homes more resilient. Going forward, we are going to do everything we can to make our community more resilient and make individual homeowners more resilient, individual residents more resilient. So I have directed staff to do a full assessment of what happened on July the 1st, what future improvements need to be made to our systems to protect residents and neighborhoods from future flooding. And we will do whatever that report recommends. We will invest whatever money is needed in additional infrastructure and other measures to make our neighborhoods more resilient so that if this once in 200 years event happens again, anytime soon, we will be more prepared for it.
I really appreciate that update, and I know there's more to come, and I know you'll continue to.
We're still working on other things, so stay tuned.
Yeah, for sure. I wanted to talk about a few other things that happened this week. It's been a very busy week, of course, at council as well. Although we're the mid-July, we're thinking about September already, and particularly from a transit perspective, there's been some measures taken.
Yeah, we had a very big council meeting. It was something like 9 hours long on Wednesday, and we covered a lot of ground and advanced a number of very, very important files. So at the beginning of September, as everybody knows, people come back from holidays. Students go back to school in primary school, in high school, at post-secondary. And this year, we're expecting to see more federal employees spending time in the office or spending more days in the office. So there's going to be, as of September, more traffic in our city, more people moving around during rush hour in the morning and afternoon. And we need to be ready for that. So for many months, our team has been working on a traffic and mobility plan for Ottawa that includes a number of different measures. We're looking at opening up more parking downtown. We're adding significantly to transit with some express routes, using our park and rides more effectively. We're increasing the frequency of the trains on line 1 of the LRT. Right. So they're going to be more frequent, and we're adding other transit routes. We're changing transit routes, changing the frequency. We're trying to make it easier to move around on the roads. We'll pause construction in some areas if they're on major arteries. So we're doing a whole bunch of things so that when September rolls around, traffic will be flowing as well as could reasonably be expected when people are heading back to school and heading back to work. So that's an important step.
And I know you spoke a lot as well of how important housing is.
Yes.
You said yes to housing, but there's some numbers around that sentiment, and share those with us.
When people buy a new house, included in the price of that home is a development charge. Our development charges are much lower than the ones in the GTA in the Greater Toronto area, but we still charge development charges, and the money that's collected from that does not go to city programs. It goes directly into infrastructure to support the growth. So when a new neighborhood gets built, you got to build new roads, you got to build new transit, you got to build new recreational paths, parks, libraries, community centers. All of that is where the money from development charges goes to. So it's infrastructure for the community. We have made a deal with the federal and provincial governments. They've opened up an infrastructure fund that if you reduce your development charges, you can get money from this fund. So instead of the money coming from new homeowners to pay for the infrastructure, it's coming from the federal and provincial governments. So council approved this week a proposal to cut our development charges by 54%. And we're going to get, in return for doing that, almost $700 million in infrastructure funding from the federal and provincial governments. It's a huge win for Ottawa. And what it means is for anybody buying a new home in a new development going forward, it's going to cost something like $30,000 or $40,000 less because we won't be charging the same level of development charge, and we'll be getting the money from other levels of government to pay for that infrastructure. And it means we're able to advance major projects in our city like expanding Brian Coburn Boulevard, expanding Carp Road, continuing the Green Bank realignment, fixing a whole bunch of intersections and improving them. So lots of great infrastructure work is going to happen, and it's going to be paid for by the other levels of government instead of being paid entirely by the new homeowners.
It's good news.
It is. Lots of good news this week, and lots of hard work will continue to support the victims of the floods.
Thank you so much, Mayor. Appreciate your
Thank
time.
you.
This has been the Team Ottawa podcast with Mayor Mark Suckla.